Hello. Let me know if you can hear me or see me. Either or would be a start. Been having a bit of a nightmare so far, but we shall crash on. Uh, as I was saying earlier, technical difficulties. It looks like there's a little bit of a delay on my end, but I don't know what's going on. So let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. I've made several mistakes. All good, says Stuart. Don't believe you. Something must be wrong. You can see and hear me, says David. Excellent. Yay. Mega tank looks empty. No, there's a fish right there. One over here, fish. Show them you exist. There's fish in there, don't worry, it's all fine. I've made a terrible mistake. My beer choice for this evening, the weakest one, it'll ever focus on it. Go on, 6.7%. That's the weakest one. We're going to have problems. Yes, we're in the fish room. So, welcome everyone to the Friday Night Live Fishy Business number 102. We're in the fish room. As you can see, there are fish in this tank. They're just over there, out of shot, because they know I'm filming them. Audio is Pringles can. Can't get it to work. We're going to have just this one week of terrible audio. I think we're running off the laptop audio. I have microphones, I just cannot get them to work. So we'll have to put up with it for a while. It's my daughter's birthday. I have a 10-year-old daughter who is turning 11-year-old. And tonight, she's having a sleepover with all her friends. Well, 8 of her friends. So upstairs, there are 9, 10/11-year-olds running around, popped up on sugar. Oh my God. So I'm down here. That's just in my refuge. I just couldn't do it upstairs. So it was all a bit last minute. I couldn't get my microphone set up properly. My desk is propped up on cardboard boxes and megatanks, but it's leaning on megatank. So we'll have to do what we can do. For tonight's delectations, I'm going to have a beer. I saw it's been horrendous. So we're starting off with Invisible Cities, which is a North Brewing Company beer. Hazy IPA. A full-bodied and hazy IPA full of juicy orange, zesty lime, and creamy coconut. Don't read that. Creamy coconut flavour. It's strong. That'll do the difference. What a nightmare. I've had them since like 3 o'clock. Picked them up and they've just been all off their nuts since 3 o'clock. Running around, destroying my house, destroying my sanity. Ooh. So cheers everyone. Welcome to Friday night. Let me know what beverage and tasty snack you've got lined up for yourself tonight. There you go. Hopefully you can see there is a fish there. There's another one here. But I don't think my GoPro's working out. Is it working? Are you pretending to work? USB connected. Let's see if it turns on. No, that's powering off. I am a professional. I have done over 100 live streams. One day, everything is good. That day comes, I will tell you. Starting on a 6. Phantom Aquatics, hello! Starting on a 6.7 is brave. It's required. I think that's the way we're looking at it tonight. I'm not even merched up. That's how frazzled I am. Oh dear. Anyway, for tonight's delectations, we have some beers. We have some fishy chats. Is it a rant? Something has annoyed me to do with fish. So we will discuss that. We'll have any chat, any questions. Remember, if you want to ask a question, stick the word question in your question, and then I will know it's a question and hopefully see it. And quiz. Quiz is making another go. I did do that earlier in the day, so I got that done. So we'll have a quiz. The quiz, quite like the quiz feature, so we're going to keep doing that for a while, see if we get good there. Oh, I'm running out of questions. It's taking me longer and longer to think of things, so you might notice this from tonight's quiz, but there are some random questions. I'm trying to keep it kind of 50-50 fishy questions and just general trivia / whatever questions, just so as everyone gets a chance, because if they're all fishy, niche, expert questions, then the niche fishy experts will get all the answers, and that's not good. So we're going through a bit of variety. So we'll have the quiz. Let's go for 10 o'clock, hopefully, if my sanity and alcoholism last that long. We'll do the quiz. We'll do a reprise, but the winner of the quiz, remember, is based on answering the questions correctly and in the fastest time, and you get points against each other. And we'll share a link with that in due course. So hang around if you fancy a little bit of a giveaway or a prize session. If we can get the GoPro working, then maybe have a wee look around the fish room, or maybe just swing this camera around. I just want to show you. There's Snake Heather's still in there doing time. Let's say hello to everyone. I also need to be careful of this desk because it's made of cardboard. And, cardboard in a wet fish room, that's always going to make it look good. Right, so let's try and run through collaboration of Curiosities. Hello yourself. Amazon Research, awesome. How are you doing? Good day / evening. Great chilly Edinburgh. Well, it's a deck and roast in Sheffield. Or maybe just check the fish room. It's not been too bad today, but it's meant to get snowy after the weekend today. Dangerous Dan says hello, as does Hans. Hello, Hans. Lily's in. How are you doing? Brian, hello. Haley, hello. Nabokov Fan 87, hello. On the way to the shop. Good afternoon, everyone. As always, Scott replacing or making a guy for top moderator for always remembering to ask people to like. That is the currency of the day. If you're here, at least give me a like. Even if it's like, I don't really have to click something. You're not a fan. You're anything worthy of fanning. If you're not a subscriber, click the subscribe button. That would be really useful. If you're into fishy stuff, my general content is usually more fishy. This is new. Live stream's more nonsense based, usually, if that makes sense. I'm sure my cat is now agreeing. Yep, it's all nonsense. Great balance. But I do make videos about fish and my fish tanks and these guys. So click the subscribe button, click the join button, click the super click button. You click all the clickables. You don't do any of those things. Really appreciating. That's what I've done. Says hello yourself. Mark Arrowsmith, hello there. Brian, won't be saying much. Mrs. Nippy Heed next to me, and my second passion on Pencil TV. Let's go to that. Well, Brian, hang around at 10 o'clock. I have a craft-based question for you. Not for you, for everyone. Yeah, at some point. So that won't be horribly wrong, but all these glass fish things in the PowerPoint. David, not normally home yet, but my son had half a day at school, so good afternoon from Michigan, where it's now just 4 p.m. Welcome all over the world, people tune in for this nonsense. I really am appreciative, especially as it's such low quality today. Phantom Aquatics, Stuart, all good. We've got Make quality is a bit wonky, but you're clear and coming through. Yes, I think it must be on. You can sit and watch me faff about for the next 15 minutes, or we can just have it. So let me know. We'll have a poll. Someone want a poll. Got me. Got to watch a man struggle to do his IT day job. Crack on. Amazing to show. Anyway. Well, let's see if we can get here. Christine, evening from a soon-to-be very snowy Oswego. It's meant to be very snowy here as well. only we had a tech-savvy human. Then I go, gave myself an extra 15 minutes. I would have surely cracked it, or at least gone back upstairs and grabbed my actual. Oh, I do have a headset. I wonder if that will work. And I have a giant puppy who has eaten 3 TV remotes, and I still rather that. It's, oh God, it's like a tidal wave of just chaos. And at one point, they all broke off into groups and all went into like every part of the house. So I was like, I don't know where to go now. Your dogs and cats are like, what the heck's happening here? Whenever my kids start running about giddy, so giddy is how they started at 3 o'clock. What I've left my wife with now, I don't know how to explain. I will say, not in front of the discus tank. Right. How's it going? Are you enjoying your chair in the room more so than the pool in the room? I'm very much enjoying. For those of you who are new here, I have my spinnies. You can't see, I don't know doing this, but it's like I have a spinny chair, which is very soft, very delightful. And this used to be a swimming pool here. He's fishing in, so I'm much happier. Well, I can't hear my lolly back there. I'm much happier having the fish in there, me sat here looking at the fish. As I look at my wife next to myself, I say, look at this guy, he's an internet guru. He's the guy you call to pick stuff. Well, yeah, it's embarrassing. I don't know why I really must put more effort. So I vow here this Friday, March the whatever it is, next week will be better. You take my word for it. Oh, this chat is skipping around everywhere. Rick Silva from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. Hello there. The Mist. Oh, I forgot I would say this now. Is it Matelot? Matlow? Matelot. We had this discussion last time you were here, didn't we? I haven't remembered. Still got COVID brain. Any other mate would do better. Well, feel free to go and get them. Yes, Father Rick Theology. Hello there. Novo per Kelly's story can't. If I'd known that was all I had to do was put on a shitty mic and we'd get rid of them. Oh, I could have done that weeks ago. I can't understand a word Gordon is saying. He's too. Matalo. I knew it's an able thing, isn't it? Yes. The audio isn't great. We can hear you and understanding is a challenge. Hope it's not just me. All right. Seeing as it's you, we'll have a go at fixing it, shall we? So talk amongst yourselves or fire questions at me while I randomly press buttons. I want the camera output. It's what I want to come through OBS. So if anyone's got any suggestions, I have the camera output to my Rode Video Micro here. It's defaulting to the laptop. Can you change it? We can go to Microsoft Array. If you don't know what that is, it's not that. We can click Advanced Audio Properties and try that. There are more options. Right. How do we make this one? Monitor and output. Now it's going to be upsetting everyone just by randomly tapping everything. And first I was afraid. I'm going to mute this for a second. How's that? Is that any better? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We've got the dreaded look. We've got the dreaded look. The dreaded look. Dreaded look. Dreaded look. There. Right, the loop's gone. So this should be better. I am using OBS. Yes, Scott. I have now managed to configure the audio source to be the audio one that's the Canon, which I can confirm by doing this. Maybe not. I don't know. It looks like it's working. Is it any better, or is it just the same? Shall we just call it a night? I'll just hide out down here from my kids and their friends. Now there's a lag, but is it a is it a better lag? Lag we can deal with. I think if I do this, that'll either have made the lag much worse or slightly better, and you can let me know which. Your lips move, then we hear what you said. So hopefully that's either got much worse or a little bit better. And if you let me know which one, select live fault fixing. I'll just put that there. Your lips move, then we hear. That's like a lyric from a song, that. Worse. Okay, we've gone the wrong way then. This is fun, isn't it? Let's go on my second channel of how not run a live stream. Something may have happened then. I don't know. We go straight to the quiz and just call games a bogey. We can probably do that. Just need an IT person to help me fix it, that's all. Hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still out, isn't it? Right, let me see if I can find the headset. Probably have to set this up as well. Okay. Well, by the time we get this fixed, we'll have like 4 people left. Up to 7. Okay. Mute.
Unmute that, and now you should have my dulcet tones again. Maybe. So I'm going to keep waffling for a while. I bet you there's nobody even left because I've scared you all off. Pink Floyd, Silver Surfer says it was. Your lips move back, I hear what's sir. Oh, sorry about that, everyone. What do we think to that? Not the singing, obviously. The can you hear me now? Does it make sense? I treated myself to these headphones recently because basically I live my life on conference calls. There goes there goes another copyright strike. I think we'll be okay with that one. Lag gone, a bit of background, but sounds fine. I can turn it up or down a bit, maybe. That might do a thing. I'm not going to fart about with it anymore. What are we? 27 minutes in. Great. So, anybody any questions? All I've done so far is successfully go through 4 different audio sources, only one of which was any good, and tank most of a pint of beer. Looks and sounds better, that'll do for this week. Yes, we'll take that as a win. We'll come back to this anew next week. Chat indeed was bugging. Thank you, Holly. I'll be a quick look and see if there is actually anybody still here. Wow. 53 people. Only 31 likes, and that's 31 more than I deserve so far. Right, I'll start again in case you didn't hear any of the previous stuff. Basically, what we're going for is general fishy chat, a fishy moan. I don't want to call it a rant because I'm just slightly peeved about it. We'll have the quiz at 10 PM. The quiz I thought was quite fun. I want to keep that going. I want to keep it a mix of fishy questions and non-fishy questions, just so as we can have something like a... I almost want to say like a handicap, or make it a bit easier for everyone that isn't an expert. Otherwise we'll just have the same experts winning every week. So I need your help. Join the Discord server. The link is not up there, so I don't know why I'm pointing up there. There will be a link to the Discord server. We'll maybe set up a new chat for people to submit questions anonymously, or an email address or something. I'll set something up so you can help out with that, because it was quite a struggle. I didn't realise it was quite so hard to think up quiz questions. As always, the quiz questions are my interpretation of the truth, so they're not necessarily true. So take that with a pinch of salt. So we'll have that at 10 o'clock. Questions, if you've got a question, stick question in the question, and I will see your question a little bit more. There you go. We're having a raffle at the research centre. What's that for? I must have missed something. Don't you just love a professional at work? I'd have been fired anyway. Phantom Aquatics, any more thoughts on the discus tank situation? I've thought of little else. I must be honest, I've made zero decisions. So the discus tank situation, for those of you who haven't been following along, I have a discus tank upstairs. It's in my hallway, which is the stupidest place I could have thought to put it, but it's where my wife likes it, and I like it there as well, so I'm not blaming my wife for saying it's her fault that we put it there. We've got quite a big hallway. It's big and open. It's not well insulated. The front doors on the hallway. The other end of the hallway goes off to all the other rooms. It goes all the way upstairs, which again upstairs is quite big and drafty. So it doesn't hold heat well. And in the winter it's cold. And we've put a discus tank in there which wants to be heated to 28 degrees. I'm working out that over winter it's kind of costing me £100 a month in energy bills to keep that tank running. Obviously it's not going to do that in summer, so it's not going to be anywhere near as bad as that. But everything was pointing towards the bills are going to go up another 20%, and then they're going to go up another 50%. That might be changing now. I was looking at options of, is there anything more I can do to it in its current situation to bring the cost down a little bit, or do I need to move it? Still might move it. I still want to extend the fish room just to give me an office out there, and that's not just, oh, so we're going to have more fish tanks. It's more to move my office so the house layout works better. The top floor of my house, where my current office is, it's all open plan, and if family comes to stay, for instance, there's no spare room for them because all the kids have their own room each, and that's it. So it's quite a big house, but it's big rooms and rather than lots of rooms. So if I move my office down here and we can seal off the office, that's an extra room. That can be a spare room for when people come to visit, or if the kids have their friends around, it can be like a junk lounge that we don't mind them trashing a little bit, or that kind of thing. So it gives us that space. And then if I come down here into the fish room, because I really enjoy being down here, this is like a temporary setup, but I've had a slightly less temporary setup down here, and I really enjoy just being around the fish. I think me being around them, they get more used to me, I get more used to them, I see a lot more of their behaviour. It's kind of a win-win. And during the winter it's warm down here. If nothing else, I might as well sit here rather than freezing my tits off upstairs. So if I do move down here, I may well bring the discus tank with me, or a version of the discus tank, pardon me, and put it behind me. So if this was my desk, for instance, it's going to be over there, but you can't see it now, but if this was my desk, I'd have my discus tank behind me. I'd spend more time with it than I do now, so that's, for me, spending time with my tanks is the big thing. I'm not a fish tank collector. I get no joy from having lots of fish tanks. I get joy from having fish tanks I can spend time looking at, interacting with, playing with. So this is kind of ideal. I'm playing around with this orange. Oh, look at these two having a bit of a face-off. So I get to see what's going on a little bit more, so that's more of a win. But for now, I'm just going to leave it, see what happens through the summer, and that's probably when we'll do the rejigging and put things down here. Hope that answers your question. What species of tilapia is that? I can't remember. It's gorgeous though, isn't it? I don't know if you can see this in the camera quite so well, but it's absolutely fantastic. It's the pinks, reds, oranges, blues. The colours are just something else. It's almost iridescent as well. It's a really, really, really pretty fish. Bit of a grump. He has words with the old snakeheads every now and again, but it's big enough that it's happy enough to fend them off. Where did you buy your flower? Where did you buy your flower horn? Says John. I bought my flower horn from, I want to say, Brian something cichlids. Brian Johnson cichlids? I can't remember the name, but it's a chap up in Scotland who imports them. Has a fairly good rep. I can't remember. Go and look at the video of when I first got that. So if you go onto my channel and search there, flower horn, I'll explain where I got it from there. I need free trips to Peru. Hey, I'll have free trip to Peru. What are we on about? I've never seen a pretty tilapia, but yours is quite a glittery fish. I said that. I got him from Maidenhead Aquatics. He was one of the surrendered fish, if you know what I mean. And I walked in, as I usually do on my Saturday morning, going, right, what have you got me for today? And they're like, you're going to show him the blue one? I was like, the blue one. He's like, oh yeah, we've got a tilapia. And I was like, because tilapias, you're like, no one's ever seen an interesting tilapia. And he said, it's just over here, third tank along in the sump, have a look. So I'm going over and I'm going, I can only see this really pretty fish. Where's the tilapia? Oh, it is a tilapia. Pardon me. Something is catching in the back of my throat. I need a honeymoon, so I can't do a raffle. I like quizzes. I can think of some questions. Yeah, so I want to get the questions so we have a whole bank of questions that I can choose from, and then I can just quickly bash out the quiz. Oh, you don't have to tell me. I know turning it off and on again is one of the main things. So far, the government said prices will likely stay. So the cap will stay. Yes. So that's good. I mean, it's not good, but it could be a lot worse. Let's put it that way. Yeah, that would be good. If you win that raffle to go to Peru and document all the fish, we can put all this stuff out on the channel and I'll pay you in beer. More than happy with that. It might be worth moving it just for now with the electricity because, yeah, well, I think we're coming out of it. Maybe we've got one more week of where it's going to be really cold. And then hopefully we'll be into spring after that, and the temperatures, once the temperatures aren't severe, it's not really a problem. Hello. So if I can last out the summer, that gives me summer to sort something out that's a little bit more permanent. And then I'll be looking at what's the cool things I can put in a cool water tank. I'm just thinking they could be hungry because I haven't actually fed them today. So I like to go with these, just looking at one or two. Brilliant. One or two at a time. The feeding has got much better. Last few weeks, I think I told you a couple of weeks ago I was worried about the snakehead. It just wasn't feeding at all. He's now readily coming up and taking things, and even fighting the tilapia for them. He's not going to do it now because the camera's on, obviously. Oh, there you go, he's just gone for that one. I don't know if you can see any of this. Much better. The tilapia is literally just keeping me company. He's very interested in what's going on. It's Friday, listening live, just finished working, the tanks are happy, heading to the pit shop, staring at a snowy mountain. All I need is a nice frosty mug and this would just be perfect. Question, did I not just say build false walls around it, i.e. an alcove? You did. I think your impression of my building skills and my wife's approval factor of my building skills are so far apart. It's just not true. It's medicinal now because I've got a sore throat. Salient Aquatics, if I need another bouncer, I mod for a lot of these guys. A mod for you, sir. If not, no hard feelings. Well, we're always looking for new mods. I like to say, just keep turning up, and we'll sort you out eventually, if you're interested. Generally, tilapia is better off on the plate. Yeah, that's what I usually think of it as a food fish. Oh, look at this. The snakehead is saying to the tilapia, back off, buddy, that is my dinner. I don't know if you can see this or I can show you it. I'm going to break the camera now. They're squaring off a little bit. Ooh. So there's a pellet down there that he's trying to get, and he's going, no, it's my pellet. Beat it. For it, take it. I've also framed out the tank with this nice curved, don't know what you call it, but there's a little knot here, and they keep thinking it's a pellet, so I often find the two of them down here going, oh, why can I not get that pellet? It's, idiots. Oh, see? He will kick your ass. Have you seen how big he is? Oh, having a face off. Right, back on me, back on us. Oh, no. God. That better? That's my face, that's not better. My local head, Maidenhead Aquatics, is so rude. They never want to answer any of my questions. They're always flippant with me and always seem really off and put off when I approach them and say, excuse me. That's strange. When I've only been to three different Maidenhead Aquatics. I've never had a bad experience in any of them, but my current one, maybe it's because they know me now, they always seem very friendly with all the customers though. And I have seen some proper customers. You know that way when you see people and you think, oh God, you're going to be a nightmare to deal with. And they always deal with them very professionally and courteously. So maybe try the Maidenhead Aquatics in Sheffield. They seem to be run by some thoroughly nice chaps. One thing I do like as well, they're not afraid to say I don't know. So one thing that really grinds my gears in any profession is asking a question of someone and they'll just make up an answer if they don't know, just so as they sound authoritative. There's been a few times, like the tilapia, I didn't know, I'd kind of not even thought about tilapia because it's a bit of a trash fish, people eat them for dinner, I don't want one of them. And then when I saw it, I was like, God, that's really nice, oh, I like that. But I'd done no research because I'd kind of written it off. So I asked them loads of questions. And they're not afraid to say, I don't know. Whereas normally, places with bad customer service, they'll just make up any old tripe. But yeah, so give the ones in Sheffield a try. We're moving on to transmission. We're moving on to inability to focus. There you go. Transmission by North Brewing Company. The East Coast meets West Coast in this soft and juicy IPA with deep tropical flavour and crisp pine bitterness. See? He's like that, sawed off. The one thing I do, having big fish, when they have big fights, and they make big splashes and they make big moves, it's quite awesome to see, like in the true sense of the word. You're like, oh, wow, that's got some power behind it. Stuart says, question, are Corbin Discus still trading? No, they are not. He has retired and moved up to Scotland. If you are interested in getting the type of discus Corbin Discus sold, you can get them from Durham Discus. I think there's one other place in Wales, but I'm not sure of the name. Something catching the back of your throat. My wife says that all the time. Maybe it's a Scottish thing, I don't know. Apparently it's meant to be Beast from the East next week. Yes, it's something going on. They've definitely got some... what was it they had on the weather today? They had... It's definitely going to snow. It's now just a question of how much. If it snows for like half an hour and doesn't even lie, I'm going to be so upset. That's some build up to give it. If it just goes, pathetic snow. Courtney! Hello you, how are you doing? Nice to see Megatank doing well. It is, isn't it? It's nice to be sat next to Megatank. Dry. If nothing else. On the Discus, you mentioned lighting. I looked up wattage on the new version of the light you're running, and the specs all look good. 43 watts versus 75 watts times 2. Yeah, I mean, they're an older LED now. I've had them for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, something like that. They still work fine, but they're not as bright as they were, and they're a little bit more power hungry than modern versions. So, definitely lighting could make a saving, but if they're 75 watts times 2, so that's 150 watts, let's call it, because of maths. If I brought that down to, even if I brought it down to, I swapped them both out for one that was 50 watts, 100 watts on lighting isn't going to save me tens of pounds over a month. The problem is the heating, and heating a tank and the heat escaping and not being well insulated. Lighting will help, but it'll be a scratch on the surface. And it'll be a scratch on the surface that'll be eaten up for a long time by the fact that I'll have to buy the new lights. So not only will I have to, I don't know, let's say I spend 50 quid on new lights, it's going to take me a year to earn that 50 quid back on the savings over the power before I start then eating into the savings of the overall power consumption. So I do want to get new lights, but I don't know. I want some company to send me some lights. Let's be honest about it. I've been trying. I've been getting loads of emails recently from companies saying, "Oh, really love your channel. I am Ben from such and such company. I really love your channel. Been a fan for a long time, and we think we'd be a great match together if you could promote some of our products. We'd love to sponsor a video. Let me know if you're interested." So I'll reply and say, "Well, sure. I mean, if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, yeah, I'd be happy to talk to you at least." Right, okay, so this is what we've got. The first one was dresses for miniature dogs. So not just coats or clothes, dresses for miniature dogs. The next one was anime iPhone 12 covers. Another one was branded air purifiers with RGB. And I'm going, so you're a fan of my channel and think we'd be a good match for a sponsored video? Where is Fluval? Where's Hagen? Why am I getting these crazy offers? So yeah, I'd love to just have someone say, "Do you want to test our lights?" I'm like, yes, I do want to test your lights. But I've been looking into something maybe a little bit more DIY. There seems to be, I don't know if this is just, if I've imagined this or not, but there seems to be a trend in prices going down anyway of what look like old T5 units and T8 units, but retrofitted with LEDs. So they're like 4-foot strips, 5-foot strips, but rather than having the T5 or the T8 tubes in them, they've got LED tubes in them. And they're selling them for like a pack of 6 4-foot tubes for 40 quid. And I can't quite figure out why I shouldn't buy them. I could probably buy a couple of them and just do the whole fish room. That would save a bit of money as well. Especially as I'm not really focused on plants in the fish room. But yes, lights is a thing. Gordon the Builder. I'm definitely not a builder. Have you seen my DIY skills? How many times did this thing leak? Tangent, but did you listen to High Rent by Rent? I did. Is that because of us that I listened to that? Ooh, bit of a spat going on there. Is that because I've not fed enough? Yeah, it's very much on my playlist now. I thought I'd listened to it because Justin Hawkins covered it. So, you know, Justin Hawkins of Darkness fame has a YouTube channel called Justin Hawkins Rides Again. And every now and again he covers some other thing. And he covered it, and he was just like, the whole video of him reacting to it was him going, I don't know what to say about this, so I had to go and watch it myself. So, I'll say no more about it other than go and watch it. It's some good stuff. the snakehead certainly could win. Yeah, he does a thing. So, from speaking to the person who I got him from, and a bit more research, when he's really upset, he kind of curves around the fish. So if you watch the video where I tried to put the flower horn in here, you could see he was curling around the fish almost, and that's their "I'm going to kill you" pose. The facing off is the "come on" pose. So I think these two are going to be okay. I have added a load of structure over here and a little bit of foliage over the top, and it has worked. So the snakehead, when he gets a bit fed up with this guy, he just goes over there and kind of calms down, and the tilapia leaves him alone. I want to get a few big like pots and rocks and things to just build some extra caves. See, like that, because ultimately I want to get the Oscars in here. But oh god, got soaked there. Thank you. Look at that. Oh, that's what I get for feeding you, arseholes. Oh, that was a proper soaking. Oh. Don't know what I was saying there. Yes, ultimately I want to get the Oscars in there. This is going well tonight, isn't it? I want to get the Oscars in there, but they're a little bit too small at the moment. But they are piling on the food. The Oscars are doing much, much better than they have been in the past. I know we've talked about this before as well. They're piling on the food. They're a lot happier. I don't know. Can I show you them? It looks very dark at the moment. But this is the Oscar tank here. This is it with the lights on. So here's the constantly hiding Oscar out at the front already. The other two are swimming around there somewhere. Just lowering the lights, putting in a load of floating plants, chilled them right out, and they're so much more boisterous, colourful, active. They're doing really well. Oh, God, I'm soaked. Right, where did we get to? I think there's an element of bias with some staff. I've had many a customer assistant talk to my partner, help me. Scientific names help. Less hassle, and no one questions that. There's an element of bias with some staff. Oh, yeah, I've seen that as well. But I think that's not a Maidenhead problem. That's a society problem. I've often been like taking my wife's car in to get a service. She's the one taking it in. I'm just there to pick her up and drive her home again. The guy will be talking to me as if I know what a flux capacitor is. I'm like, that's her car. She's the one getting the service. What are you talking to me for? Have you decided what other fish for Megatank? The Oscars, they're part of the plan. I still want the peacock bass. So I'm interested in them. Still interested in stingrays. Something along those lines. I kind of want to get something else now, just to. So, for instance, this. More fish would break up the aggression, if nothing else. It's a big wet patch. So I do want to get more fish. Maidenhead customers be like, I have a massive 5-foot fish tank and want to add something. I already have a red-tailed cat. Yeah. How correct am I? You're not incorrect. I have definitely heard those conversations. Yeah, and way worse as well. I totally got quizzed for going to keep my 12 auto sinkless in a 50 litre. I know the feeling, and there's no winning sometimes. Obviously, they want to sell fish, and what I like about Maidenhead Aquatic, or certainly the one in Sheffield, is they get some interesting fish in every now and again. So the bucktooth tetras that I'm looking at that are up here, they're interesting fish, but they're not for everyone, and not many people will have the tank space to keep them. They do get in peacock bass. Alright, that might have been something surrendered from someone else, but they get in big fish that not everyone's going to keep, but they do seem to vet, or they know their audience, so they know I'm going to be in every other week. They know they've got several other people that have got fish rooms or big tanks that are going to be in every other week. So it's not like they don't know they have a customer base that can handle some of the weirder fish that they get in. Do you like the look of a full-grown umby? I'm not adverse to it, yeah. Someone selling plecos behind me because they don't really need feeding. Yes, I've heard that one before. How about doing a rainbow shiner tank if you shut down? I'm not going to be shutting down the discus tank. If you're watching, Vicky, that's off the table. I will be relocating the discus tank and having something else in that tank. Rainbow shiners, definitely could think about that one. Shih tzus and dresses, yes, quite right. I'm not sure why you wouldn't want a load of free dog frocks, to be honest. To be honest, I followed that one through and said, well, I do have 2 ridiculous dogs, and I quite like the idea of making them even more ridiculous. But I didn't see how it fitted into a sponsored video. But anyway, Barbara Jackson, hey there, hello there. I think dogs look quite sophisticated. I'm going to have to find the email now, because that was ridiculous. Let's see if I can share my screen and show you what they were going for. So Coloretto, product link. See if I can show my desktop. Oh no, that's blank. God, where's it gone? There we go. Hopefully you can see that. Oh no, this was the iPhone one. Sorry, I've got the wrong one. Bear with me. So yeah, this was we've been watching your channel for ages, and we think this is the best thing ever. Well, I don't have an iPhone. Never mind talk about iPhones. Sorry, I'll just go back to myself so I don't share any sensitive information. I think this is the one, yes. Big advert on the way. Hang on. Yeah, this totally fits in with my whole vibe on my channel. So anything from your teacup chihuahuas, Yorkies, tiny puppies, up to the large for things like pugs, Boston Terriers. So yeah, you know, I guess I've now done a freebie. I've now done a free promotion of Fitworm dog dresses. If anyone does want to buy one, tell them I sent you there. Maybe they'll send me one for free. So, you know, Right, 10 o'clock. I'm meant to be doing something. Right, oh, panic, panic. Let me find it's quiz time. That's not a quiz, that's my Microsoft exam. It's quiz time. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to... Oh, God. It's going to make me log in. I won't be able to remember my login details. Oh, no. It's remembered me. I think this is the right one. Right, as I've said before, we're going to have some questions. There's 15 questions. I've given you a little bit longer, so we've got 30 seconds per question to answer them. How do I share the link? Live group competition. I want to host. I copy that link and I paste it in there. So the quiz link has been pasted in chat. You've got until I get down to the rest of the comments, and then we will play the quiz. If you didn't join us earlier for the blurb, I made up the questions, so the answers are what I think's right rather than what's actually right. A mixture of fishy and non-fishy questions. 30 seconds to answer everything, and we'll give a wee prize to the winner. There you go. Fluval and Joe lights that come from the memory look the same. They do look similar. They're selling off the old T5, T8 lights due to stopping manufacturing on the tubes themselves. Mercury issues on stuff. Lightsaber battles. The LED strip tubes are great. I might try them. How's Humphrey? Humphrey is alright. See if I can turn you around. Ugh. Humphrey. Humphrey. He's having a mard over in that corner for some reason. I think he knew I was going to put the camera on him. But yeah, he's good. All well. I'll post a pic of my dog on Discord when he put himself in a costume. I've had the worst week, and now my pet has either been nipping his own fins, that is a thing, they do tend to do that every now and again, or got fin rot after finished dosing the Prozin or Protozin medicine and added an erythrocyte. Not good. If in doubt, do a water change. Oh god, I'm miles behind. Right, sorry, I'm going to try and The tilapia saying he's not been fed enough. What, by splashing me? Have the Oscars doubled in size? One of them has. They've all got much bigger, but one of them is doing quite the race to be the biggest. Megatank is fixed. We don't say things like that round here, Ollie. Megatank is currently holding water. We'll leave it at that. Sorry if the question has been asked. Had to pop off for a bit. Have you made the decision on the disc tank? Oh, we did talk about it, so go and watch the replay. But long story short, no, I haven't made the decision. What's your favourite biotope? Amazon. I think a ghost clown knife would work in it. Yeah. Or a ghost clown knife. Do you mean a black ghost clown knife? I don't think that would be big enough. I do have a black ghost clown knife, and I did have one that I got to almost a foot. It was about a foot in length, but I think they're just a bit too slender. But maybe a clown knife is a little bit meatier and beefier, might be a bit more sturdy. A ripsaw catfish would be great in Megatank. Have you ever thought of the vicious haggis fish? Well, the quiz might mention haggises as well. We don't know. Sorry if I'm skipping, I'm just trying to catch up. Those outfits are epic. Well, fill your boots. I didn't even get a sponsored video out of it, and I've already shown them off. Just joined and we're chatting about dog grizzlies. Yes, this was my. I've been not mourning, well, I've got probably is mourning. I've been mourning for the last few weeks that I need to start making some money to pay for all these fish tanks. I need to get the hobby to pay for itself, so I need some sponsorships. And I got inundated by about 5 emails for sponsorships for things that are like, what, why, what? And one of them was dog dresses, so you know. Right, we have got 18 players currently. Just have a quick look, see if there's any with comedy names for the quiz. No, they all seem quite respectable. Fat kids win at Seesaw. Right, so I'm going to give you a couple more minutes. The link is just go a little bit back in the chat and you will see it. In fact, I'll put it in again just for all you latecomers. It was an interesting drive listening to your mic struggles. I do apologise. And it's something I've been thinking about. I've had a few people say to me, oh, I love listening to your live streams. I listen to them when I'm driving from such and such to such and such. And I'm thinking, how can you watch a live stream? But basically they're just doing the audio version. So I did try podcasting, turning the live streams into podcasting. And I've kind of unconsciously always done it, but I try and read out the question rather than just answer the question that comes up. Read out the question and then respond to it. So if you're doing your water changes and you aren't actually looking at the screen, you can still follow along with what's going on. Same with if you're driving, you can see what's going on. Obviously, things like when I'm showing you dog dresses on the internet and sharing my desktop, you can't see that in an audiobook, so I might have to edit it to cut out those bits. But if you're interested in that kind of thing, let me know. It might be something I'd give a go. Right, we're up to 22 players, so if we're ready, I'll share my screen, so you've got a few more seconds if you want to. transitions. Generally how this works is I read out the question, you get a few seconds to put in your answer, and we see a leaderboard of people creeping up and creeping down as we go along. So, if I get rid of this screen, this is very hard because I've only got one screen, but we've got 22 players. Are we ready? Here we go. Question number 1. This is going to be the first contentious question. How many bones on average good spelling, Graham, make up the fish skeletal system? Is it 50, 100, 150 or 500? Now, I can hear you all furiously typing, but it depends on the fish. I found a website that claimed the average was one of these numbers, and that's what we're going with here. 50, 100, 150 or 500? The answer is, of course, 150. If you order a special fish in the UK, what do you get? Do you get 2 fish, a fish fried in breadcrumbs, half a fish, or a fish pan-fried rather than deep-fried? Americans, you may be sitting there going, what the is this guy going on about? As a side note, in Scotland, I think this is a Scottish thing, if you order a single sausage at a fish and chip shop, they give you 2 sausages. I've never understood that one. You get fried fish and breadcrumbs. Which is the biggest ocean in the world? Is it the Pacific, the Atlantic, the Indian, or the Arctic? A. Pacific, B. Atlantic, C. Indian, or D. Arctic? Special fish, when I was a kid, that was reserved for the really posh people, because you had to go in into a busy fish and chip shop and demand special fish. So you'd shout over the 15 people in front of you in the queue and go, special fish, because they had to make it special for you. The biggest ocean is, of course, the Pacific. What is the minimum number of darts required to win a game? A 501 game, we're talking here, obviously. Is it 8, 9, 10, or 11? So, think back. Have you ever managed to leave the darts on in the background if you're not a fan? And hear them go, oh, I can't believe it, he's got a 11 darter? An 8 darter? What could it be? It's a 9 darter. How deep is the deepest body of water in the UK? That's almost relatively aquatic. Must say, both these North Brewing Company beers that I've had so far have been delightful. Very easy to drink. 6.7 and 6.9, maybe that's why. How deep is the deepest body of water? It is 310 metres. Related question, what is the deepest body of water in the UK? So we know it's 310 metres deep, but what is it? Is it Loch Ness, Loch Morar, a puddle, or Loch Lomond? Anybody who might be interested, that is a picture of said body of water. It might be a puddle. I was surprised by this because I thought I knew the answer and I was wrong. It is Loch Morar. I thought it was Loch Ness, but there you go. If you wanted to test your aquarium for ammonia, which test would you use? NH3, NO3, NH2, or NO2? I tell you right now, I've got this one wrong because I'm useless at remembering which one is which. I always have to go and look at the packet of the test kit and go, which one's ammonia, which one's nitrate, which one's this one? That's it, right. So remember, speed of your answer counts just as much as correct. The answer is NH3. What is the longest river in the UK? Is it the Amazon? Is it the Clyde? Is it the Severn? Or is it the Tay? I'll give you a clue. It's not the Amazon. I did put that in there just to catch people out who might just go, well, that's a long one, I'll put that in, and didn't read the question that it was the UK. I realise now banjacked that by saying it's not the Amazon, but you know. I do know more than 3 rivers in the UK. The answer is the Severn. Who won the 2022 Winter Olympics? Was it the USA, China, Germany, or Norway? I thought this might be a culturally significant one, depending where you come from in the world, what you might answer. USA, China, Germany, or Norway? It was, of course, Norway. Question number 10. What is the fastest fish in the world? Is it A, mackerel, B, mako shark, C, Pacific sailfish, or D, yellowfin tuna? All fast fish. Which is the fastest? It is, of course, the Pacific sailfish, recorded at 68 miles per hour, apparently. If a fish has a labyrinth organ, what can it do? Can it lay eggs? Can it eat and digest shells? Can it breathe air? Or can it swim backwards? Now, it may be able to do more than one of these things, but what is the thing that labyrinth organ allows it to do? I should have phrased the question better, possibly. Lay eggs, eat, digest shells, breathe air, or swim backwards. It is, of course, C, swim backwards. Question number 12. What is the second most popular participation sport in the world? Is it golf, badminton, football, for my American friends that's soccer, or table tennis? Second most popular sport in the world: golf, badminton, football, or table tennis. These are all in the top 10. But which one's number 2? It's badminton. Football was first, badminton was second. What is the most commonly eaten fish worldwide? Is it cod, tuna, pollock, or salmon? Wow Aquatics making a bit of a lead on 186 points so far. Catfish Person 166. Juggler 150. Silveriest Redneck on 146. And Shadow on 142. I think you lot could all make a run in the last few questions you might get there. The most commonly eaten fish worldwide is tuna. How many episodes of The Simpsons are there as of the start of 2023? Is it 420, 578, 742, or 1124? There was a fish in The Simpsons once. This is aquatic. Die-hard fans will know it is 742. Last question. What is the national animal of Scotland? Is it the red deer, unicorn, haggis, that's the picture of the only recorded haggis, or badger? So red deer, unicorn, haggis, or badger? What is the national animal of Scotland? That haggis, I think, was caught in 1920s. It's displayed in the National Museum at the moment. The answer, of course, is unicorn. Anyone who's been to see the Kelpies will know that. And wow, with a last-minute rally, Shadow has won. Congratulations. Woo, yeah. Press buttons that would make those noises. I don't know what happened to Wow Aquatics. Shadow, 196 points, takes the gold prize. Catfish Person, 187 on gold. Wow Aquatics gets bronze on gold, on silver, you idiot. Wow Aquatics gets bronze, followed closely by Juggler, Silveriest Redneck, Mickey, University Challenged, and all these other losers. Mark, Cock, Aaron, Jack, obviously it didn't work for them. I do apologise. If anyone thinks of a better platform to do this on, by all means let me know. But for now, let's give our congratulations to the top 3. Shadow, if you send me a message, Scott, I will send you a little care package to congratulate you on your epic win. Right, find my thing again, press that button, hello, find the chat. I think Bob Steenfock got offered ladies' summer dresses for a possible sponsorship. Yeah, you get some crazy, crazy offers. Question, have you still got the affiliate for the smart plugs that you have for the discus tank? I probably do. Give me a second, I shall stick it into the chat. So these are the Tapo energy monitor plugs. T-A-P, oh god, A-P-O. So if you are worried about how much your fish tank is costing you to run, but you just don't know how much it's costing you to run, I think these are a little bit of a no-brainer. I shall post the link into the chat. Not only do they monitor your energy usage, but they also act as smart plugs, so you can use them to turn things on and off remotely through your phone or whatever. Really not expensive outlay. I think, in fact, I've just looked, I should be able to tell you, what are they? 30 quid for a pack of 4, so not very bad. Special fish sounds very special. It is, it's the height of luxury. I don't know if this is UK wide, but when I was a kid, it was like you'd be there in a chippy, people ordering their dinner on a Friday night or whatever it might be, and someone would lunch in and go, 2 special fish! Because they knew they were going to be made special, so they'd have to shout when it wasn't even their turn. Just the balls of someone to shout when it wasn't their turn and order a special fish. They'd be like, oh, special fish, oh, look at this guy here with a special fish. Us poor mere mortals just having sausage supper. I'm in, but I hear now as I'm on my phone. Yeah, it doesn't work very well. It only works for some people, I suppose. I like this raft of comments from Rebecca here. Darts! Loch Ness? Oh, I think it's likely Loch Ness. I'm wrong. I just love that as a flow, a train of thought. That made me laugh. Sorry. I didn't even watch the Olympics. Was there one? I can't believe badminton won. I can't believe badminton won. Football was first. Proper football, not involving hands. Football was first. Badminton was second. Field hockey was third. I don't know. Must be big in India or something like that, I guess. But yeah, all the American sports just didn't come into it. I think baseball was the highest, and that was down at number 8, I think. Yeah, it was good. That's the most common eaten marine fish, as carp is the most common eaten in the world, period. Oh, I don't know. Like I say, these answers are what I found on the internet rather than what is actually correct. But surely more people eat tuna, because cans of tuna are available worldwide. Only some people eat carp. So no one in the UK eats carp. Some of the Eastern European countries eat carp. Asia, I suppose, eats a lot of carp. There's a lot of them. But all these places also eat tuna. So, well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Oh wow, as if I actually won. Of course you did. That last question was easy for me. Yeah, I thought I might catch some people out with that one. That was a proper comeback though. Yeah, well, as Silver Creek says, nice comeback. I'm just happy I got Unicorn right so I can go back home. Good game for everyone, though me and Catfish Person were head and head for most of it. Then all of a sudden, WoW dropped out and I jumped in at the last question. I do worry if WoW internet cut out and he's currently sitting there banging his desk going, yeah, it's a fix. This platform's super easy. Well, if it works for most people, no platform's going to work for everyone because some people watch on the phone, some people watch on a laptop, some people have an extra device. So there's always going to be something wrong. So if it works for most people, that's kind of good. Kind of fun. I placed about midway. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Unicorns on the Scottish flag. No. That's the lion rampants on the Scottish flag, or technically the Scottish flag, the St Andrew's cross, and then the other Scottish flag is the lion rampant, the yellow with the red line. I'm going to have to show my screen again. History lesson about Scotland and Scottish flags. Oh, that's caps lock. I don't want that. So you might have seen this from like old Scotland football jerseys, things like that. That's getting back to the breathing screen. That's your lion rampant rather than unicorn. But believe it or not, and I'm not even making it up, the unicorn is the national animal of Scotland. Or the Kelpie, as we like to call them. I think we got disconnected for a second. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. These are the Kelpies. Which is like a massive structure up near Falkirk, where the Scottish Canals system, they've also got the Falkirk Wheel, which is this canal thing. And these are just, it's quite impressive, you have to see it. I'm now thinking these are completely different to unicorns because there's no horn on these ones, so maybe a Kelpie is a completely different thing, and I'm not giving you a lesson at all. But the unicorn is the national animal of Scotland. End of story. Right. I tanked. I was trying to play driving home. No, don't do that. I don't want to be responsible for anyone's death. Oh, we're everywhere. Come on, chat. Let's play the game. Unicorn and lion. What's that say? Unicorn and lion were fighting for the crown is a good way to remember it. I know American football is almost non-existent even in university sports where Quidditch is pretty popular. Very cool, but did you know that disc golf is the reigning champion for nearly a decade on the number one of sports that people name wrong? Frisbee golf. It can't be that many people. I know you love it when I say frisbee golf. I've not seen carp on sale for food. In this country, it's non-existent. It's a sport fish in this country. We fish for carp, and we put them back again and try and get them even bigger. And for much of Europe it's the same, but I know there's some Eastern European countries, they go mad for carp. I think places like China, where there's a lot of people, go mad for carp. So, you know. The fake crab made of pollock tripped me up. Yeah, I stuck pollock in there because a lot of people at fish and chip shops, it was a big thing recently where you thought you were getting cod or haddock. You were actually getting pollock. So I thought, oh, I'll stick that in there, see if I can trip a couple of people up. Has my internet just dropped or the stream? It was the stream. Sorry. I did get a message pop up that it's all gone wrong. Sandy, hello there, how are you? Kelpies are not unicorns. Yes, I realise I've made a huge mistake there. Kelpies are water unicorns? Something to do with water, I know that much. The unicorn and the lion poem, I think, is about the issues with us in the Scottish. The unicorn is usually in chains when depicted. Streamlabs, stop being a dick. Right, we're moving on to a new one. This is another Northern Monk beer. I quite like the last couple that I had. This one's called Transient. Another hazy DDH double. I can't remember what that means. 7%. So we've gone up a little bit. Find your path as fog descends. Step into the haze in the mist of time. See, none of this. We've got Java and umbungo fruit in here. Oh, this is weird. Brewed in the north with Ben Nolson. And Ben's statement is, I was on the TV programme 50-50 when I was a kid. There you go. I just ordered a couple packs of those plugs, so hopefully you get some money for them. Yay! That'll be like 30 pence I'll get if you order 2. I'll be able to use my Amazon affiliate money for buy my own lights. Quite pungent, this one. Oh god, what are these two doing it? Pack it in! If you soak me again, I'm not going to be happy. Maybe I have to give them more food. Think that would calm them down? I get quite calm when I have too much food. There was an interesting stat on the back of this packet. So this is what I've been feeding them. Or this is what the last person was feeding them, so I bought a pack as well. It says on here something. Every pellet contains the same calories as 1.8 goldfish. So put that in your live feeding pot and smoke it. So that's 1.8 goldfish worth of calorie. God, they stink. Right, I'm going to open it up. Don't be a dick. There you go, it's about 6 goldfish. Most people I know in the US get pissed if a carp takes a bit. Yeah, well, they're invasive over there, aren't they? Rather than the other thing you don't want. Sorry, but it's true. Battle of Stirling is Falkirk, Stirling, etc. Braveheart. Yeah. My sentiments exactly. Have an awesome weekend from Friendswood. Thank you very much, Wow Aquatics. Freedom! There's only 2 films that I've ever seen that ended in the audience all standing up as a group, ended in the audience all standing up and applauding and cheering. Braveheart and Spider-Man. I don't know why those 2 films, but they're the only ones that has ever happened to me. It was the Spider-Man when they had all the other Spider-Mans in it. I guess that's why. Do you drink your beer warm or cold? Middling. They should be cold, but I'm in a very hot room and I've been here a while now. All these ones you're meant to drink cold. They all do say keep them in the fridge. Look at that. It's proper hazy. Can you imagine? 6 months ago, that would have made me bulk. Look how far we've come, people. I can now drink weird, hazy, cloudy beers and actually enjoy them. That's damn tasty. So cold, Sandy. I prefer them cold. Last time I was in Scotland, they were voting on separation. And there'll be another one soon. No, sorry. Maybe the unicorn was around more then. My daughter said Edinburgh was very castly. Everywhere in Scotland's very castly. The castle per capita is very high in Scotland. Pardon me. I like that measurement because goldfish are mostly fat. I just fed microworms for the first time from a culture I got for nothing. Everyone seemed to like them. Just have to wait for another batch to be ready for the harvest. Microworms are great. I've never had a... Well, let me say that again. I don't know what we call them. It's the really microworms are the ones that have been a little bit problematic for me. But like grindle worms, white worms, things like that, that's what I would have normally called microworms. I've never had a fish turn their nose up. Obviously, big fish like this might be like, I don't even see it, but most fish, even the larger of the small fish, they're always like, yum, yum, yum. Did you get to the zoo? The best one in the UK? Oh, Edinburgh Zoo's. Is it the best in the UK? I'll take it because it's in Scotland. But I didn't know it was regarded. I think it's a great zoo. It's one that we used to make a big deal about going to see when we were kids. Edinburgh Zoo had like the March of the Penguins. They had the pandas more recently. They've had all kinds of things more recently. I don't know. I don't know if it's the best, but I'll take it as if I've got any involvement in it whatsoever. Independence Day, I hear people would stand up and clap when it took down the White House. Matrix, yeah, or Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, really? And Jurassic Park. Now, the only two for me was Braveheart, and it was everyone in Scotland. I watched it when I was in Scotland, and it was everyone spent the whole thing going, that didn't really happen. They didn't wear kilts then. That didn't happen either. They didn't paint their faces. Freedom! Yeah! Woo! Yeah! And then the Spider-Man thing, when Tobey Maguire appeared, everyone was like, it just made me laugh because I'd read that day, oh yeah, this is Spider-Man. Spoiler alert. No, in fact they put, this is a Spider-Man where universes collide and all the other Spider-Mans make Spider-Men. Cause the article was called Spider-Man or Spider-Men. Spider-Mans or Spider-Men. This is the film where all the other universes collide and the other Spider-Men join forces. Spoiler alert. Spider-Man from previous films will be in this film. You're like, no. Spoiler alert was the title and the bit you wrote before spoiler alert. So I now know that there's going to be other Spider-Men in this Spider-Man. Yeah, so that pissed me off. But yeah, anyway, that was the only other one was everyone going, oh my god! And then Andrew Garfield turned up, oh my god! And then at the end, they were like, oh yeah, I love this. And I was like, oh really? You're doing the standing up clapping thing? Alright. So about half the people stood up and clapped and whooped and got all American. Whereas on Braveheart, everyone was like, yeah! I thought I half talked some nonsense on this stream now again. Edinburgh has pandas and koala. I think they must have had the slow roll. I think they did have the slow loris. I remember seeing some pictures of that and going, "Is that what that's called?" Oh, okay. Edinburgh is very touristy. Well, as a proud Glaswegian, Edinburgh is just full of junkies. It is very pretty. It does have some nice tourist destinations. So you've obviously got the castle, the Royal Mile, Scott Monument, all those, like the old Edinburgh where you can go down the alleys and you can go underneath and see. Yeah, it's good. It's definitely touristy, but sometimes if you're a tourist, that's what you want. The botanical gardens I want to visit again. I don't think I've ever been to Edinburgh's botanical gardens. I've been to the Glasgow ones, obviously, and they're pretty epic. Oh, everything's jumping around again. If I remember right, the first Fantastic Beasts movie got a standing ovation, but I didn't go to the midnight release, so only true fans. Yeah. You forgot you don't wear underwear under your kilt. Very true. And if you're in Braveheart or fighting in any of the battles Braveheart was depicting, you don't wear a kilt because we didn't wear kilts then. Pardon me. Oh, look at that. Barbara Jackson, please refrain from using foul language. I can't believe Barbara would have used foul language. Jackass. Oh, I apologise on Streamlabs' behalf. No idea what Braveheart is about. Some Scottish person fighting for Scottish things against non-Scottish people. Oh God. Is there a demote button? How do we unmod people? You can come back once you've watched Braveheart, historically accurate as it is. William Wallace. I'm now going to recant the whole story for you. How long have we got? Well, I could stay here for hours actually. I've got to avoid going back upstairs because I've got a bloody kid's birthday party going on. William Wallace. You've kind of summed it up there. Some Scottish person fighting for Scottish things against non-Scottish people, against the English, the evil English and their evil ways. It's not foul language, it's a male donkey. In Braveheart, it looked like he had a massage with a happy ending. No wonder he couldn't get the word freedom out. And in reality, the ending of Braveheart was the only bit that was. Oh, it's not the only bit that was remotely true. But where they sensationalised a lot of the other stuff, the ending was actually not quite as gruesome as the actual ending. I mean, it was still pretty gruesome. I don't want to spoil it for you, because, I mean, if nothing else, even if you're not interested, it's a good film. Like Saw and Final Destination had nothing on the new Braveheart. A new Braveheart? Is there a new Braveheart? Really? So that's not Braveheart, the Bruce Guy movie. So Robert the Bruce is in Braveheart, but Braveheart is William Wallace. And the film revolved around Robert the Bruce being almost a kind of a sucker baddie up until the end, where William Wallace was this shining knight who could do no wrong and only cared about Scotland, and Robert the Bruce was only interested in himself until he got William Wallace killed, and then he took over and started to be a bit nice. That's all bollocks. There were people with those names, and they roughly did some of the things they were depicted doing, but it didn't go that way. Lived in Kinghorn for years, basically started Braveheart. King. I've just seen another one there come up. Mel Gibson, how very Scottish. What a Scottish accent that man did. He's an honorary Scot, yes. Robert the Bruce on Netflix. I'm going to have a look at that. Yeah, Mel Gibson is the Braveheart film. I mean, even if you think it's all nonsense, and admittedly a lot of it is, as a cultural reference, there are so many lines within that you hear people using all the time. It's worthwhile, and it's one of those epic films. It's a big film. Hello. It's definitely worth watching if you haven't seen it. I was meant to do a rant, but we've only got 15 minutes left, so I'll very quickly do my rant. I was going to make a video on this, and it's about rehoming, and this is pertinent because this guy here, I rehomed, and he cost me 0 pennies. I wanted to pay the man that I got this fish from some money to prove I was a good, upstanding citizen and I was going to look after it, and that it wasn't me just trying to get a free fish. But I rehomed this fish. And I use rehomed in the same breath as rescued. Rehomed/rescued. Someone else had a bit of a disaster. Their fish needed help. It needed to be rehomed/rescued. I had a big tank, so I rescued it. So I took it away and said, I'll give you some refuge for your fish. And the reason I say it like that is because when someone's trying to rehome a fish, they're generally saying, my fish is a problem. This fish is a problem in some way, and I need help. I need a way out of this situation. My fish is too big. My tank is crashed and it's going to die. My fish is killing all my other fish. Whatever it is, my fish is a problem to me in some way, and I need help to get out of it. So they have to ask at that point, oh, someone help me out. Help me with this thing. That's fine. 2 types of people are going to do that. There'll be people like me. No, I'm not even going to frame it like that. There'll be people who genuinely want to help, who can help, who have a big tank, who have an empty tank, who have the space, the capability to look after that fish. And there'll be people who want a free fish. And there might even be a third category. There'll be people who want a free fish but can still house it happily, and there'll be people who want a free fish so as they can flip it and sell it, and have no intention of looking after the welfare of the fish. So to combat these 2 groups here, I don't want to pay because I want to get rid of it, I'm trying to make a profit, I'm going to sell it on, I'm going to do this, that and the other. This whole idea of rehoming fees comes in, which I'm not against. On the face of it, I'm not against a rehoming fee. It whittles out those nefarious people to say, no, I don't want to do it. I just want a free fish because it's cool. So I understand there is a need to put a fee on it to make sure you can do your due diligence almost to make sure your fish is going to go to a good place. I'm not just going to give it away to the first person that comes along and says, yeah, I've got a 7-foot tank, honest gov. Pardon me, you need to make sure. So I get it from that point of view. But I have been added to a lot of Facebook groups recently Pardon me, I'm just going to have a bit of a coughing fit. That are called things like Fish Rehoming Northwest, UK Monster Fish Rehoming, Fish and Pred Rehoming, Fish Rehoming such and such. And it seems that 99% of the posts on there it's not rehoming, it's fish selling. And it's fish selling, but I am no longer allowed to call it selling because Facebook will take down the group or ban my post. So I'm just going to call it rehoming. Which in and of itself, you're like, okay, yeah, I can understand that. But one particular group has made a point of throwing their toys out the pram saying, I can't believe everyone's so stupid to not understand that you're meant to provide a fee when you rehome a fish. I can't believe people are wasting my time by asking where I am, and when I tell them how much I want for the fish, I never hear from them again. And I saw half a dozen of these posts and said nothing. And then there was one that was particularly irate about, I'm getting really fed up with these people who don't continue the conversation when you tell them there's a fee involved. And someone else has said, well, what was it you were trying to rehome? I have 20 bristlenose plecos. And all I was asking for was £4 each. And someone else said, well, that's not really rehoming, is it? And they said, of course it is. If you go to Pets at Home and buy a fish, you're rehoming that fish. The people who are on Discord may have seen the start of this rant coming, because that was the bit that got me, because I was like, no, if you go to Pets Home and buy a fish, you're buying a fish. You're not rehoming a fish. Just because you take it to your home does not mean you're rehoming. Rehoming has a connotation around it to say you're the one who's doing a favour to someone. You're rehoming, you're solving a problem, you're fixing an issue, you're providing an out, you're rehoming, you're not buying. And I understand it's because these people used to sell fish through Facebook that they may have bred themselves legitimately, whatever it might be. But for them to then get pissed off that people are not understanding their secret code of their nefarious ways that they are selling their fish on under the cover of rehoming. No, you're wrong. Stop doing it. You're not allowed to sell fish on Facebook. You can't then expect everyone else to know your secret code that you're using to get around not being allowed to sell fish on Facebook, so you can sell fish on Facebook. Either put up with the flack of the misunderstandings, or make more constant, regular posts about how I'm not really rehoming these, I'm just doing it to get round Facebook's rules. You know, we don't want old Mark Zuckerberg pooping in and going, what's going on in here? Everyone above board? No, you're rehoming. Okay, not selling. No, rehome. Okay, that's fine. No, sod off. Get on eBay. Get on your local fish club. Get on whatever it is, or put up with the misunderstandings constantly, because that is not what rehoming means. And the situation where I see people saying things like, I've got a red-tailed catfish. Seems to have grown too big for my 4-foot aquarium. Need to sort this out ASAP. And this isn't real, but it's this type of thing. And I go along and say, well, I've got a tank that could look after that fish. I can help you out. Okay, £150. What? No, you don't need to pay me. I'll help you out for free. No, you need to pay me £150. What? I need to pay you for being an idiot and not knowing that fish will get far too big for what you... No, I'm not going to reward you for being a moron. Why are we getting these people out of jail constantly? These are not even legitimate sale posts masquerading as rehoming. These are, I don't give a damn about the fish that I've bought. I'm just going to pamp it off on someone else later. That's the really egregious part of this. The people who have bought an Oscar for their 2-foot tank and got surprised that it got too big for their 2-foot tank. There's nothing I can do, I need to get rid of it. Alright, well, I'll take it then. Alright, 20 quid. What? No! I'll take it for free. Or the other ones that are even worse are, this fish has killed almost every other fish in the tank, someone take it for me. Oh, okay then, I've got a big tank, I can take it. I'll separate it. Yeah, 50 quid. What? You've got a fish that's killed every other fish in your tank. I'm now going to dedicate a solo tank to this fish. I'm going to dedicate a tenth of my fish room to this one fish that's causing you such massive problems, and you want me to pay you for it? No, you should be paying me to take it. So, I got myself into a couple of conversations, and I was very proud of myself, so I pat myself on the back that I took myself out of the conversations, because it's the universal truth. You can't argue with idiots, because they'll just bring you down to their level and beat you with experience. But if you are a member of any of these Facebook groups, I'm not sure, I can't be convinced that they just need to go away, because they're not what they pretend to be. They're not rescues, they're not, if anything, they're covers for selling fish, they're covers for idiots putting no thought into any fish that they buy and just thinking it doesn't matter, I'll get rid of them later on Facebook. And that is not something that we should be encouraging. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I certainly have benefited from rehoming fish. So this is a fish, tilapia, if you come over here. Hello, this way. You've seen it. It's a fish that I have rehomed. I paid for it because it was given into the shop, and I paid over some money to prove that I was going to look after it, that I was invested in it. I don't have a problem with that so much. The snakehead, I offered to pay for it and he wouldn't take my money. He just wanted to make sure it was going to a good home. I guess I'm slightly different in that everything I do gets seen online. So, you know, if I take your fish, I'm going to try and look after it, and if I don't, you'll see me not look after it. So if you don't trust me, you don't think I'll do a good job, you just don't give it to me in the first place. Money doesn't come into it at that point. But yeah, it feels wrong. Something feels dirty about it. So I am aware I have ignored the chat now for a long time. Speed rant, yeah, quite right. Rehome equals free to a good home, yeah, and yeah, you can qualify what that good home is, and if a fee is involved, I'm not against that in and of itself. It's a big discussion. I'm happy to pay, but a reasonable amount, so not like they're making money back and making. Yeah, I don't want to pay for someone else's mistake. I don't want to validate that it's perfectly acceptable for you to go out and do whatever the hell you want without thinking about it, because I'll come along and save you at the end of the day. That's not okay. I think a fee, or what seems like a fee, to filter out people that reach your requirements. Yeah, exactly. Question from Brian. I have an idea in my head. Would it be okay to email? Of course it would. Graham@aquariumadventures.co.uk, or Discord, or anything else, or whatever. I was in one of these groups that pissed me off when I tried to report someone for selling fish and not rehoming, and the owner of the page PM'd me saying he wasn't selling it, he was rehoming it, but there's always a fee involved in their page. Yeah, that may well be the same group that I'm talking about. They constantly post messages about how, it takes a lot to look after these fish and a fee just makes it reasonable. No, you think you're a rescue centre? If you go and rehome a cat or a puppy from a rescue, that's because that's a facility. dedicated to taking in strays, housing them, treating them medically, getting the vets in, all that kind of stuff, feeding them until they found a new home, getting them back up. That all takes money. So when you pay a rehoming fee there, that's what that goes towards. When Dumbo McDickface buys a massive Oscar for his 2-foot tank and goes, oh, it's not working. Ugh. Dumbo McDickface pays the fee because he's the idiot. He got it wrong and someone else is helping him. They shouldn't be helping him for rewarding him for getting it wrong. That's the bit that's really grinds my gear. £4 each. I made that number up. It's in and of that thing. It was clearly someone who had bred a boatload of bristlenoses, couldn't handle them, and needed to get rid of them. So when you're in that situation, you don't try and profit off that situation. I mean, if I could do that. I could breed hundreds of bristlenoses and look after them quite happily and sell them off at top dollar because I don't need to get rid of them. I've got the tank space, I've got the food, I've got the time. It's not a problem. They can live here until we find the right buyers. When I don't have the tank space, when I don't have the time, and I'm going, oh god, there's thousands of the buggers, so what am I going to do? You take whoever's going to take them. You don't worry about how much money you're getting from it. Facebook doesn't care if it's rehoming, rescues or sales, they all get taken down if it wants accounts and groups. I've seen them be really strict in some places and really not strict at all in others, so I get to figure out, I think like Scott was saying, you can report groups and nothing happens, you can not report groups and they just disappear all of a sudden. I bet they knew it would outgrow their tank. Of course they knew it would outgrow their tank. If they're savvy enough to be on Facebook groups where they can, and most of these people are doing this constantly. They're not. It's not one-offs. And there's, I don't know how much I want to say about this. Yeah, watch. So there's a name I see coming up. So there's a. There's an auction coming up, the SVAS auction, and there's a lad there that works there that does some of the sales, and every auction I've been to, I've been like, he's buying an awful lot of fish, and I've seen him on these groups, and I've seen him on Band and all these other ones. He's buying them at the auction when nobody else wants them, and then flipping them, selling them on. Nothing wrong with that. But that's exactly the behaviour that shouldn't be encouraged in a page that is rehoming fish or pertaining to be rescuing. Buying a fish at auction, buying an angelfish at auction for £1 and selling it for £5 is not rehoming, it's not rescuing. It's good business, but when you present it under those terms, it's dirty. It's not right. I need a new home for my 4 platinum angelfish. They're getting too big for my tank. What? I saw you buy them 2 days ago. How can they be getting too big for your tank? That's not right. Anyway, I don't want to say too much because I want to go to the next auction. That'll be awkward. I rehomed 4 koi for a mate, but I still paid for them. It was a price I could afford. Knowing the price I would have paid bought me only 1 fish from a dealer. And yeah, I don't want to say it's wrong to pay because sometimes it's genuine. And if it was genuine, the guy who sold me this fish, he was gutted to see this fish go. He wanted to keep it, but his pond had collapsed. He just couldn't get it back together. He just wanted it to go to a good home. I wanted to give him money so as he could either get his next fish or whatever, but he was just not. I'm out of it. I've had enough. I would have had no problem paying for that, and I don't think anyone should have a problem paying for a fish because it keeps the cycle going, it keeps everyone It keeps everyone in the game, so to speak. But when you're a wrongin' doing it, don't like it. Koi are a big one. The stigma that the increasing price over time holds. I've seen many people weekly think that because they bought their 10 koi 10 years ago, it's now £1,000 fish. That as well. Oscars especially seem to get a bad rap for that, where you're going, this is my Oscar fish, it's 14 inches long, I've had it for 8 years, I want £80. You're like, why? Well, I've grown it up, I've paid all the money to feed it, I've conditioned it to get to this weight. Yeah, but it's going to die soon. I'm not. No, it's not how it works. Yeah, and they're always beaten up. It's like, oh yeah, I'll reward you for caring for that fish terribly by giving you more than market value. I'm a member, but I don't support the methods of selling and stuff. They aren't learning from what they do. Exactly. And I'm a member. I'm still in there. At the end of the day, I want big fish to fill out my big tank. If I can take a big fish off someone else that can no longer look after the big fish, that's much better than me adding to the quota of big fish out in the world. But I'm not doing it and rewarding someone else for being an arsehole and basically being a bad fish keeper, and then I reward them by paying them handsomely to take their problem off their hands. Can I give you my wife, please? As long as it's a good home. It's not that good a home. I think I know this group. They have insane requirements sometimes. I'm banned. The owner says she's a pleco expert, but I expected her to identify the fish. Yeah, I don't know if it is the same group that we're talking about. I'll happily share with you offline. But I quite often join under my real name rather than my Aquarium Adventures page. I think it's just a bit of a dick move going, I'm a famous YouTuber, I should know what I'm talking about. It's nonsense. I just want to deal with under my normal persona and name, so I don't think it's often caught. Can you name and shame to society owners as society members won't be happy? I think they know what's going on. That's yeah, I think they know that it's happening. I've heard comments in previous auctions be like, oh yeah, well, Kyle's going to have that fish, and we'll see that on Facebook tomorrow. And you're like, so, and again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's business. It's what every fish shop does. They buy in fish so they can buy in cheap so they can sell a little bit more expensive. There's nothing wrong with that model. It's the these 4 fish have outgrown my tank, so I need to move them. No, you bought them yesterday, so they haven't outgrown your tank. You're just selling them. Just say you're just selling them. Just because Facebook doesn't let you say that doesn't mean you get to lie. If nothing else, what else are you lying about? But anyway. I think people forget the reason stores have to charge more is that at the end of the day, well, exactly, a store, a rescue, an actual facility has overheads. That's why that fish wasn't free. I'm covering 0.0003% of running the store by paying for that fish. They won't have paid for that fish. But it's how things work. So I have no problem with that kind of thing. It's the nefarious element towards it. I should have mentioned my friend did not want any money for the koi, but I said I would not take them unless he took the money. Well, and yeah, that's a nice situation. Sounds like a good situation that you've got going there with your friend. This was more a little bit of a rant about it's just bad form. You're not playing the game properly. You could sell those fish to a local fish shop. You could sell those fish in your fish club. You could sell those fish online on eBay. You could sell them on Band on the many fish groups. There's hundreds of places you can sell those fish. But when you take that extra step of saying, I'm going to make up a story about these fish so I can sell them on Facebook, it's just. And then when you get so self-righteous about it to start complaining that people are getting upset that you're making up these stories and that you're saying these things, yeah, you sod off. It's no, you are not right here. You do not have the moral high ground. Oh, you made me stay on a Saturday because I was going to message them and they didn't message me back. Don't lie to them then. It's not hard. Yeah. I know quite a few breeders who sell cheap to hobbyists just to spread them in the hobby for a fair price. E.g., Latin name, cheap, but people can sell them for 15 times the price. Yeah, and I've had that before where people have reached out to me and said, oh, I've got these discus, they're really cool, would you like some? And I've often said yes or no or whatever has happened. That definitely happens. I got offered some zebra plecos years ago because someone mistakenly thought I was really good at keeping zebra plecos. I just want to get the numbers up so as we can flood the market a bit and bring the prices down for everyone. I was like, oh, that's a brilliant idea, a brilliant thought. It just wasn't for me at the time. I'm not that experienced a breeder, but those sort of things do happen, and they're good things. It's I see it at I'm not going to be able to go to this bloody auction now. The amount of shit I've talked about it. You see it at reserve prices where you're thinking someone will, and it'll be, I don't know what it might. I'm going to use random numbers here just to make my point, but it'll be right. We've got Sterbai Corridoras. We've got 6 of them. We're going to start the bidding at the reserve, which is £8 each. You're like, what? I can get them for £6 each at an actual shop. Why would I pay you £8 each? Oh, well, these are tank bred, really well looked after, really healthy. You know it's a good source. Okay, all those things might be true, but you're taking the piss a little bit. Oh, come on, people, let's get bidding. These fish have been. You'll pay more from the shops. No, you won't. No, you won't. Why would you say that? I'll show you on my phone right now. You can buy them on eBay. You can buy them at Maidenhead Aquatics. You can buy them here. All cheaper than you're trying to flog them off, because people turn up at those auctions thinking every fish at an auction is going to be cheaper. It's just slightly dodgy. And that's not to say don't go to an auction, because there are huge bargains at auctions, but just not everything you see at an auction is a bargain. I get quite disillusioned at my local club is Sheaf Valley Aquarist Society, and I'm only a member when I join to go to the auctions, and it's painful. You might have seen this from some of the videos I've made about my auction experiences. Every single time it's been painful. The words piss up brewery do not even come close. The lack of organisation, the amount of organisation that goes into this is probably immense and more than I can ever dare to dream about. But what you see when you're there is, God, so slow. Why is everything so slow? Why does nobody know what's going on? It's just constantly guys just looking at each other going, up, up, What? But and you're just there going, let's move on. Nobody wants your broken pump. Move on to the next thing. Tanks especially. Oh, we've got this great tank here. The tank it's 45 centimeters by 25 centimeters by 25 centimeters. Could probably fit a giant gourami in there. What? We've got some discus fish here, bred by some random man up at the back. He wants 50 quid a fish. They're an inch and a half long. What? No. Oh, they'd be perfect in your community tank. You can have them with goldfish. No. What? Anyway. I hope this guy's watching. I hope he isn't. He'll probably come and punch me when I turn up at the next auction. I'll need to go to the next auction with dark glasses and a hat. There was someone I dealt with who was similar, but they were totally insulated, ill-suited setups with a bit of Facebook stalking. He was constantly reselling fishies for similar reasons. Yeah. Stores pay for someone's income and their job these days. Yeah, when you're buying something from a store, you're paying for that store to exist as much as you're paying for the thing you buy from that store. I don't know why people don't understand that sometimes. Everyone descend on Barnsley in March to watch Graham grab the mic and run the auction. Well, the next one is in March. I think it's a Saturday auction or a Sunday auction. Starts at midday, so therefore it'll probably start about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and run until midnight. I'll be too scared to go now. Maybe I'll just buy all the fish cheap and sell them on Facebook. The entertainment event of the year. Oh my god, it's 11:15. I'm so sorry everyone for keeping you up and overrunning so outrageously. In fact, is there anyone still watching? There's bound to be some. My god. Well, we were up to 68, but we're down to 41 now. Right, I think it's about time I started to shut up. What do you say? Tanks and equipment usually don't get much at our auction, and I kind of get that. Most of the equipment sales, there's people selling like so. This is a bad example, but a packet of food that size, if you buy something like this on my website, I'll charge you a few quid for, I don't know, a bag of bug flakes, something like that. People are selling things half that size for twice the price of the things you can buy in commercial stores. Not even just my website. You could walk into a Maidenhead Aquatics, any local fish store, and buy a bigger bag for less money than people are trying to flog generic flake food. They'll sell, and I have got some bargains every now and again, but they'll sell a pump with no plug on it, crusted up to hell. It's working, honest. We'll provide the phone number of the person that sold it. Oh, you provide the phone number so I can phone him and have him ignore me on phone as well as internet and message. Brilliant. Why don't you put a plug on it and plug it in, show us it working? Can't possibly do that. Got a tank over here, guaranteed to hold water. Guaranteed! So bring it back. Bring it back to us. Bring it back to the guy that sold it. Here's his phone number. That phone number's got 11 digits in it. That's not a real phone number. We've got an auction in the northeast on Sunday. I've budgeted 5 hours, but at least the raffle prizes are good, and Sunday is fish and plants only. You can buy practically the same ingredients for a lot of money, but oh yeah, the amount of people that are just buying like bulk. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've looked at the fish food and gone, right, that's clearly you've bought a kilo bag of King British random goldfish flake, and you've split it into 10 100-gram bags. You're charging the same as a kilo for each 100 grams because it's a fish auction and it's someone's bespoke mix. A bollocks. I bought a used 40 breeder tank. It broke out of nowhere. I mean, there are genuine sellers at these places, and not everyone's a scam artist. Buying a second-hand tank, regardless of where you buy it from, comes with a risk. And I think if you are savvy enough to say, second-hand tank, I can't trust it, it's going to come with a risk, and you get it at a good price, then everyone's happy. When someone tries to put a guarantee on it that is not worth the paper it's not written on, that it'll hold water, when you've got a guy up the front saying, guaranteed to hold water, how do you know? Because the guy's left his phone number. Have you tried it? No. So someone wrote 8 numbers on a bit of paper, handed it to you, and now you're guaranteeing that tank. Yep. That's not how a guarantee works. Shut up. You know what I mean? It's overselling what's there. Second-hand tank, take it for what it is. If you're worried, you're going to have to reseal it yourself. 20 quid. 30 quid. Blah, 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 blah. Not guaranteed watertight. Even if it was guaranteed watertight, the person who's making that guarantee has just transported that tank from his house, fish room, place of residence, whatever, all the way to the auction site, where it sat in the cold or the hot in the car, got cold at the auction site or got hot at the auction site, being piled up on a load of junk at the back of the room, being jostled around, and then it's going to be taken somewhere else, in someone else's hot car or cold car or hot house and cold house. There's no way that guarantee can be made because of the amount of shit that's gone through to get to that point. It's impossible to make that kind of guarantee. And the person saying guarantee isn't the person giving the guarantee. They're just saying the other person who's not going to ever pick up the phone to you is guaranteeing that it'll hold water. All they're saying really is, this held water once. Great. Lots of things held water once. Doesn't mean anything. Sorry. I get annoyed by things sometimes. What bugs me is people selling tanks for higher prices and the price decreases like cars do. Yeah, depreciation is a thing. I see this quite a lot as well, where people say, I'm selling this full setup, and the full setup is a tank and some gravel. No filter, no light, none of that. Tank and gravel cost me £120 new. I'll give you it for 110. No, that's not how it works. I'll give you 50 quid for the lot. What? Chancer. Get out of here. Alright. 2 weeks later. Are you still interested in that 50 quid? I'll sell it for that. Oh, did nobody else want it? Surprise, surprise. Anyway, I've ran over. Hopefully made up for the 30 minutes of incomprehensible stuff at the start of the stream. Any final questions? Otherwise, I shall bid you adieu and ask you to go and click all the clickable things. Send any of you over to go and watch, there's no doubt, a freshwater, cold water aquatics, that's the name. We'll be streaming. And if he isn't, go and join Discord. Go and have a look at any other video that I've made. Click like, click share, click, 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 all those good things. They're all helpful. While I read these final few comments. Biorbs. Many think they decline in price quite well, but realistically probably worse than others. Yeah, everyone buys Biorbs and goes, oh, that's so cool, this tank, and then, oh, it's so awful to clean and look after this tank. I'll sell it on to some other sucker. Yeah, I don't want to take the risk anymore. I don't blame the seller. I'm sure they didn't expect it. I just don't want the risk. It wasn't the seals. It broke a hole out of the side. Wow, that's quite catastrophic. With tanks, if it's a fish room, it'll happen with second tanks. No guarantee. In my kind of setups, less so. Very, very true. Pardon me. Thanks for the stream, says Kaylee. Thanks for joining and staying all this time. Wow. Thanks for the stream. Not a problem. Coldwater Aquatic stream. There you go. They've got the link from Scott there. Click that. Go along and say Graham sent you. It's nice of them to find out there's some love in the fish farm community, and we're sending people around to say hello. Question: how long can I keep you? I don't know. Say something egregious, and I'll rant about it for another 40 minutes, no doubt. Random Aquatics, nice to see you here. Nightbot, shut up. Biorbs are so fun to clean. Exactly, yeah. I think that's why everyone buys them and goes, oh, look at that, it's so cool, we can see it. It's like an orb. Ooh, we'll be able to see the fish from any direction. 3 weeks later, can't see anything. I can't use a scraper. I'm going to have to get my whole arm in. Oh, terrible. Right, thank you everyone for joining. See you next week when we might even have audio from the start. Bye!